So, for what feels like forever, India and China have been in this incredibly tense standoff, way up in the Himalayas. But lately, the ice really seems to be breaking. You're seeing handshakes, deals getting signed, all this talk of a new chapter. The big question, though, is this for real? Is it a genuine thaw? Or is it something a lot more complicated? Let's get into it.
And that really is the heart of the puzzle, isn't it? I mean, how can these two massive rivals be, shaking hands at the border, but at the exact same time be sharpening their swords with other countries? It's like they're playing two completely different games at once. It's this incredible, high-stakes balancing act. So what is really going on here?
All right, so first up, let's look at the good news. After a really long and frankly dangerous freeze in relations, we're seeing this very deliberate, step-by-step effort to cool things down. And they're starting right where it matters most, that disputed border. And what's kind of wild is just how fast this has all happened. It really kicked off in October 2024 with this pretty smart pact to schedule their border patrols, basically to make sure their soldiers don't literally run into each other. By December, officials were like, yep, this disengagement thing is working. And that opened the door for the big moves in 2025, resuming direct flights, setting up these working groups to find some quick wins, what they're calling early harvest solutions. So this isn't just talk, right? This is a real, tangible process of stepping back from a very dangerous edge. And look, this isn't just some low-level thing. This optimism is coming from the very top. After some key talks in August 2025, you have India's Prime Minister Modi himself putting it in these really hopeful terms. I mean, a public statement like that, that's a huge signal. It tells you there's a serious commitment, right from the top, to try and turn a new page. But it's never just about politics and borders, right? So much of modern geopolitics really comes down to economics. And beyond all the diplomatic moves, there's a massive financial reason for both New Delhi and Beijing to get things back on track. So, yeah, let's follow the money. Just get a look at this number, $118.4 billion. And get this, that was a new record set during a time of peak political tension. It's just staggering. It shows you how deeply connected their economies really are. It's a huge reminder of just how much they both have to lose if things go south, and of course how much they can gain by keeping things stable. So, okay, how are they actually making this happen? Well, first, they're not just getting planes back in the air. They're reopening these old, historic trade routes that go right through the Himalayas. Then, they're making it easier to get visas for business people, for tourists, for journalists. And maybe most importantly, they're actually sitting down to talk about the really tricky stuff. Things like the big trade imbalance and those controversial dam projects China is building. Okay, so it all sounds pretty good, doesn't it? You've got diplomacy warming up, trade is booming. It seems like a clear path forward. But if you think that's the whole story, you are missing a huge piece of the puzzle, because there is another, totally different narrative playing out at the exact same time. Because here's the thing, even while India is talking with China, it's also at the same time aggressively building up these super powerful partnerships with other countries. Now, the goal here isn't to replace China. It's all about balancing China's huge influence in the region. It is the textbook definition of hedging your bets. And why are they hedging? Well, it's pretty simple, really. The big fundamental problems haven't just disappeared. You still have China making these symbolic claims on Indian territory in a place called Arunachala Pradesh. The reopening of that trade pass we mentioned, well, it's made Nepal angry because they claim that land too. So these core issues about land, about water, about sovereignty, they are still there, bubbling right under the surface. And this is where you can really see India's grand strategy laid bare. It's like two different tracks running in parallel. On track one, you've got direct engagement, working together in groups like BRICS and the SCO. But on track two, at the same time, India's beefing up the Quad Alliance with the US, Japan, and Australia, and even co-developing some serious military tech. It is a full-on, two-track foreign policy. And don't think for a second these partnerships are just for show. We're talking about real, concrete, high-tech military cooperation. With Japan, they're building these super advanced radar systems for their warships. With Australia, it's all about making their militaries work together flawlessly. And with the US, they share this whole strategic vision for a free and open Indo-Pacific, which, let's be honest, is language aimed squarely at countering China's influence. This is that hedging strategy in bright, flashing lights. So, what are we supposed to make of all this? How do you square these two totally contradictory things, a diplomatic thaw and a military buildup?
Well, it's not confusion. It's actually a very deliberate, very 21st century strategy. It's the art of what we can call competitive coexistence.
And this term, managed rivalry, is really the key to understanding everything. Think of it like this. It's a super sophisticated balancing act. You engage with your rival, you trade with them, you do everything possible to prevent a catastrophic conflict. But at the very same time, you're building up your own military strength and your friendships, making sure you can never be pushed around. And make no mistake, both sides are playing this exact same game. So why should you care about any of this? Because this is not just some distant regional squabble. The way these two giants manage their relationship has massive global ripple effects. We're talking about things that affect global supply chains, the security of the seas, and really, the future balance of world power. The stability of Asia, and you could argue the whole world, kind of hinges on them getting this balancing act right. Right now, this whole managed rivalry thing seems to be working for both of them. It lets the economies grow while keeping a lid on things. But it is an incredibly delicate high-wire act, and it leaves us with the one huge, lingering question. Which of those two tracks is ultimately going to win out? Will it be the path of engagement and cooperation, or will the track of competition and alliances eventually lead them somewhere far more dangerous? The answer to that? Well, it's probably going to define a big part of our century.